Coach Owens, 42 times after tonight you guys have met.
That's correct, 42 times, and I tell you that's more times than I am old, so it's a great rivalry.
Well, here in Southeast Texas, the opening night, the lid lifter, as they say, is probably one of the most exciting weekends in Southeast Texas.
Well, I think it is, especially when you get two schools together, the communities are this close together, so it's real interesting for everybody in the area, and we expect a good game tonight.
They tell me that you're seniors, and this ball club, you've got a bunch of comeback kids. I understand that Tim Owen is saying that it's going to be necessary to really get after your quarterback because of that speed. And Tim's coming in with an inexperienced quarterback. Defensively, what do you think they have to do for the ability to stop the Indians?
Well, they're real big up front, probably as big as they've ever been. They've got these huge offensive linemen. And Oman, of course, got good speed, the quarterback. And what we've got to be able to do is we've got to keep them from knocking us off the football, because if they knock us off the ball, it's going to create gaps, and then they'll be picking up 5, 6, 7 yards at a time. We don't want them to hold on to the ball.
I know you're happy with your running and passing game. How about your kicking game and the general all-around condition of your ball players?
Well, we're real healthy and everything. Our kids are in pretty good shape. It's been hotter than any 2 days I've ever been associated with, so I think we're pretty much used to the heat. Our kicking game is the area that most concerns me right now. We're just not doing a real good job in that area.
Well, Coach, how do you feel about tonight's contest? I know both of these teams are excited. Both of you coaches are.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a great game. Doesn't matter, who's supposed to have what on paper. It's whatever happens out here on the field. And I think in the early games, penalties, turnovers, and that kind of thing is what will decide this game.
In Southeast Texas, ladies and gentlemen, on Friday nights in September, it's King football, and that's where we are. And that was the interview with the two coaches of tonight's contest. And Joe Arnold will be back with more activities in this football game after this 60-second announcement.
Tonight's experienced mechanics believe trust must be earned.
Powered in stripes, bright colors, and prints. You'll look good and feel great in the most popular Western styles from Wrangler. And you'll always find the best selection at Roy's Western Wear. For 3 generations, your place for everything Western. Roy's Western Wear, 7600 Twin City Highway, your official Wrangler PRCA Pro Rodeo dealer.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Port Arthur. Henry Larcade is going to set this thing up for you and tell you what's going on here tonight.
Okay, Joe, formal introductions now. John Stevens will do the play-by-play for the first quarter. Joe Arnold with the color, and we're setting the stage while John catches his breath. The Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson elected to kick off this evening and defend the goal to our left, which is the south goal. Port Neches receiving from the north end of the field. There's the kickoff. The Indians bobble the ball momentarily, pick it up, bring it out across the 30 to about the 33. And, John, that's the way things look as our football game gets underway. Have you got your breath yet?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's King football in Southeast Texas. The P&G Indians will start the first series in tonight's contest on their own 33. You're looking at Maddox, Talley, Whitehead, Harrington, Hargroder, Hawkins, and Wilson across the front line. The big center, Elliot Harrington, comes up to the line of scrimmage. Brandon Oman is under. He's got a long count. He turns, feeds it to the first man that meets him. That's Ruben Sauceda. Sauceda trying the left side of his line between tackle and guard. Meets a staunch jacket defense and drives them back to about the 35-yard line. Give them a pickup to 2. It'll be 2nd and now 8 for the P&G Indians.
Everybody's eyes are on this new quarterback here for Port Neches. Last year's quarterback, senior Jay Musser, was a very qualified and competent fella. Looks like this old boy's got a long road ahead of him to measure up to last year's talent.
A fine and talented young man, however. Mr. Oman has in motion Chris Maddox to the right side. Oman rolls to his left, looks for a man to pass to. It's wide and out of bounds. Man for whom the pass was intended, number 6.
David Kendrick.
David.
He's a junior, coming in at 150 pounds. A lot of new players starting this year for Port Neches. Of course, being district winners last year, that's a big concern of the home folks at the Tribe, is whether or not these new inexperienced players will be able to come back and master last year's wonderful victories that led them into the playoffs.
It's 3rd and still 8 for Brandon Ullman Stallworth. He takes the snap. Again, rolls to his left. The very same play, only this time it was programmed to Ben Jeffrey, too tall, out of bounds on about the 45-yard line. Jeffrey did not have an opportunity at it. However, the Jacket defense was pressing very hard, and here come the patches onto the Indian offense for the kicking team. Kicking for the Indians will be Eddie Bird, and he's standing on his own 21-22. He's got the snap, takes his time, puts his toe into a boomer. It's a fine spiral, goes down to the 22-yard line where it's taken by the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. He's ridden down very quickly.
Keto Means was the receiver, and he is dropped dead in his tracks at about the 26-yard line. I think you can attribute those incomplete passes on probably nerves here, the first rattle out of the box.
I would think so. In the opening moments, it would definitely be nerves. We're going to be looking at Hayes, James, Prevost, Weitzel, I beg your pardon, Lee Freeman, and Story for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets offensively. However, there's some extracurricular activity on the part of the officials. Let's see what they're going to say. It looks like we may get this kick over again.
It certainly does.
No, John, I believe it's going to be a first down.
Uh-oh.
The way they were coming back so far, Hank, it looked to me like they were going to kick it again.
Major penalty.
It's obviously a very, very severe infraction at this point in time, especially for TJ. The penalty is going to move Port Neches Groves into a situation in which they now have a 1st and 10 situation with the ball on the 50. So we'll try to recap what that infraction was for you in just a moment. Ullman brings his stalwarts up to the line of scrimmage. Split Jeffrey wide to the left. Wide to the right is the slot man to the right. Ullman's moving to his left, chooses to keep as he tries to find a slot in between tackle and guard over on the left side. He is able to cross the 50 down to about the 48-yard line, pick up of 2, no more, as the maroon and gold fold him under and put him away. So it's going to be 2nd and 8 yards for the P&G Indians at this point in time.
Mistakes are something TJ doesn't want to make this year. You know, in last year's matchup, 4 fumbles and mistakes throughout the game cost TJ this game.
Kendrick checking into the lineup for the Indians of P&G. Ullman takes the ball, turns, feeds it to Ruben Salceda. Salceda, the junior, 160-pounder, number 33, on the slant to his right, trying to find some running room. Ducks his head and plows into the defense and grinds out about 3 yards. The flag on the play indicates that P&G will again have another first down as they're marking yardage off against the maroon and gold.
Coach Mike Owens can't be happy about this.
Absolutely right. A personal foul tacks enough yardage for the Indians to move deep into DJ territory. They'll be operating from the 33 inside the territory of the Port Arthur Yellow Jackets. So, Ullman, offensively, not having to worry too much about his offense clicking right in the early portion of this particular ball game. Maddox, slot man to the left, and Jeffrey wide to the left. However, Ullman makes first as though he's going to keys the football to Jesper Fort. The Fort plows into the right side of the line, maybe down to the 30. But if he gets to the 30, there's no more than that as the Yellow Jackets pull the sheets out from under him and cut off the light.
This is hard, grinding football. When you make this many plays and only make an average of 1.5 yards per play, it's going to take a while to get on down the field.
You're right, Joe. They both came out to play tonight. It's going to be 2nd and long for the Indians at P&G. Ullman brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Split them wide, right and wide left. Holman feeds to not the first, but the second man through. However, the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets are reading the mail of the Port Neches Groves Indians as they find enough opportunity to stop it all. There's a handkerchief on the play. We'll see what the officials say at this point in time. It is a call against the Indians of PNG, and the officials say holding is the official word. And the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets say, yeah, we understand. And we're going to see if they're going to mark it off.
That's the first penalty called against Port Neches for the evening. That's compared to 3 now for Thomas Jefferson.
And
Mike Owens is saying no, but they didn't listen to it.
Right. The men in stripes pick up the ball, move it back to the 40-yard line, and now it's going to be long for the Indians. It's going to be second and about 18. PNG in this opening stanza still controlling the ball after a couple of miscues. Spread them wide, right and left. The two backs are shoulder to shoulder as Oman brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Long count, he steps back, moves to his left end to roll.
Oh! Drop back at the 47-yard line. Big loss.
The defense folds him up and puts him away, Joe. And the loss is even greater than the penalty was assessed a while ago, and now it's going to be third and about 25.
Guys, that's what you call stuffing.
Boy, that's exactly what happened. So the TJ defense beginning to show their mettle here in the opening moments of the first quarter. 8 minutes, 6 seconds still to play in the first quarter of play. PNG in control of the football thus far.
Oh! Wrapped up at the line of scrimmage.
Oman has no place to go.
And this TJ crowd is fired up about this one.
So the kicking team comes into the lineup once again for the PNG Indians, and Eddie Bird will be back to kick for the Indians. The senior, who normally plays defensive end, 180-pounder, stands on his own 39, puts his toe into a boot that goes end over end. Thomas Jefferson calls for.
Good.
Yes, but it's a fake. He lets the ball fall free, and the Indians kill it on the 2-yard line.
Absolutely fantastic play for the Indians. Just the break they needed to put them deep into their own territory, where they're going to have to try to come out now from the 2-yard line for Thomas Jefferson.
The TJ defender, who was ready to receive the ball, chose instead to let the ball go over his head, thinking it would roll into the end zone. The PNG Indians in hot pursuit decided not to let that happen. They kill the ball on the 2-yard line. It's from there that Damon West will bring his Port Arthur Yellow Jackets up to the line of scrimmage. Hayes, James, Prevost, Weitzel, Lee, Freeman, and Story across the forward wall. Fuentes, Henry, Means in the backfield along with Damon West. West calls. He feeds it to Fidencio Fuentes. Fuentes stepping just to the left of the center, takes it to about the 7-yard line, and no more before the Indians fold him up at that particular point. So it's a 5-yard gain, about a 5-yard gain for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets at this point. TJ puts a pass. DeRiso checks into the lineup for Fuentes. West bringing him up again on a second down effort. Needs 5. He's got a man deep behind him. And he feeds it to number 39, Lyndon Henry. Henry trying to find running room around the left side, turns the corner. The Indian defense moves over with him and put him away before he reaches that marker that is required for the first down. It's going to be 3rd and short for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets in this particular series. Fuentes checking back into the lineup for Thomas Jefferson with a new play. West brings the stalwarts out of the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage, and it's a formation that splits the ends wide, right and left. He's got 2 men behind the quarterback. He feeds it to Henry. Henry trying the blocks or tackle the guard on the left side, is met on the line of scrimmage and driven down. There's a flag on the play. Let's see what the officials call that flag, but the Indian defense rose up to the occasion and stopped the runner. Let's see, however, what the officials will say about that infraction.
Until this latest penalty, Thomas Jefferson looking very poised and very professional on their offense tonight.
TJ has got a mammoth-looking outfit, and we're going to take an opportunity in just a moment to try to figure out what the weight of that ball club is. But Joe and Hank, they are tremendous and look good. They are playing with a lot of poise.
John, I've already got the weight of the Thomas Jefferson team figured out. It's called heavy.
You almost said his tonnage, couldn't you?
Complete concurrence. They're stretching the chain. Let's see what the officials say. There's a lot of conferencing. A holding penalty against Thomas Jefferson was the call.
And it appears that they're going to mark it off against TJ.
That's going to be half the distance of the current process, which moves the ball back just about to the 5-yard line.
Still third down.
And it'll be third, and they have about 6 yards to go to reach that very point that they're looking for. Split them wide, right and left on each end. That would be Hayes and Story. West goes back to pass. He's looking for a man. He's got Fuentes short. Fuentes takes the ball on the run, across the 10, across the 15, the 20, up to about the 23-yard line before they pulled him up and put him away.
Damon West looking very poised as he went back into his own end zone, found his receiver, threw a perfect pass, and it was as near perfect a play as you would want to see in high school football.
It's the kind of screen that works on almost any occasion when you're going down with the deep men. And it worked very well for Damon West and his Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets to the tune of 1st and 10 from their own 22. West brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He's got him split wide, right and left. He feeds to number 39, Lyndon Henry. Henry moving to his right, cuts just outside, tackle on the right-hand side, moves across the 25, is driven down, and they say his knee hits down on about the 24, and it's at that point the ball will be brought back for the next down effort.
This is one of the largest crowds that I've seen on hand for a Thomas Jefferson football game in a long, long time.
The end zones have a sparse collection of fans, but the stands on each side are loaded. Second down for Damon West, Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. He gives the ball to Fuentes. Fuentes trying right up the middle of Main Street. Goes to about the 30-yard line before he's stopped by the defense of the Indians.
PNG left a huge hole there for Fuentes to run through. Made it pretty easy for him to gain this yard.
David Merriman slowed him down, and that's all it took. Jay Engel moved over and helped, along with Jared Romero, to stop the effort of the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. Third down, about a yard needed for TJ, and West brings him up. He gives the ball to Fuentes, met solidly on the line of scrimmage, and bounces back a couple of yards, gets his feet under him again, charges for the 30 again. Let's see if he made it. I do not believe the officials will say that he made it. No.
Absolutely not.
Fourth down in a punting situation as the Indian defense hardens up for that particular effort and did a tremendous job. Deep for the Indians will be Chris Maddox. Also deep for the Indians will be Lou Ford. And they're standing on about the 38-yard line. They're into the playing field. The kicker for TJ will be kicking from his 17. Puts his toe into an end-over-ender. Ford calls for it on the 38. He's got it. Moves to his right. Across the 40. Across the 45. Across the 50. Into TJ territory to about the 47-yard line before they click his heels together, and it'll be from there. The Indians will go to work 1st and 10. 3 minutes, 21 seconds to play here in the first quarter of play. And the lid lifter for Thomas Jefferson and for the Indians of PNG. And it's been exciting thus far.
So far it has, indeed. That was a rather short punt, but a wonderful run back for Port Neches.
PNG splitting his slot man wide, right and left. Ullman fakes and then feeds it to the man who is moving to his left, and that would be Jake LaForte. LaForte, trying to find some running room, meets the entire forward wall of the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets and fold him up and put him away at that particular point. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Well, Jay Jeffries came and wrote a little note to me and asked me to make a slight adjustment on your microphone.
Thank you very much. Dave Kendrick checks into the lineup with a play from Coach Tim Owen. Kendrick moves wide to his left in a slot position, moving Chris Maddox wide to the right. Owen takes first one and then gives it to the second man, Ruben Saucedo, the 160-pound junior, trying to find some running room around the right side. Cannot do so. He's met by the entire forward wall of the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets, and it's a maroon and gold barricade that drives Saucedo back down on the turf for a no gain.
Absolutely. Raymond James, a senior at TJ, just swallowed him up. It was just...
The forward wall of Thomas Jefferson is Mancera, Johnson, Fisher, and James, and they're backed up very strongly by Henry, Pickney, and Hope. Ullman brings his Indians slot men wide on the left side with a slot man on the left. His strong side moves to his left, trying to find a man to pass to. It's too tall for number 88, Ben Jeffrey, and Jeffrey thinking that the pass perhaps was going to go to Chris Maddox, who was the slot man, and Maddox was not in position to take the ball. It falls incomplete. Nobody touches it, and that is an incompleted forward pass and brings about a fourth down situation for the Indians of PNG. That means that going back to kick will be number 44, Eddie Bird, standing on his own 40-yard line. Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets have a lone man, Cato Means, standing on his own 10. Means looking for the ball, fields it on about,
drops it,
the 20-yard line. He fumbles the ball. Let's see what happens.
Looks like PNG recovers.
The officials say that
yes,
PNG
indeed.
did recover the football on about the 22-yard line. So, fate plays a part in PNG keeping control of this ball here in this first quarter of play. They have maintained, except for one session of downs, the entire first quarter has been PNG's.
I tell you what, Mike Owens worked on his two-a-days for the first week. Solid fumbles. Do not drop the ball. That's what cost them so many games last year, and that's cost them awful field position for Fort Neches.
Opening day jitters is what we see.
Yes.
Oh, Oman standing straight up. Passes to his slot man on the right side. The ball is tipped incomplete. On that particular offensive position, he positions Aaron Wilson in a position that makes him eligible for a pass play. He's got his ends all on one side. The strong side turns out to be the fake side, however. The weak side is where the play traveled. Incomplete. Second down, still 10 needed for the Indians from the 22 of Thomas Jefferson. Their deepest penetration in the game tonight. Holman, long count, goes back to pass, looks for a man on the screen, incomplete, as the pass was intended for Ruben Saucedo. Too tall, as Thomas Jefferson has him covered, and in the traffic, Saucedo, I don't think, could even see the football.
I don't think so either. It was just, it was like an eclipse, you understand?
Yeah, he was standing in between three defenders, and it looked like he was standing in a field of telephone poles.
That's a good way to put it. We've only got about a minute 37 left to play in the first quarter of play here at Memorial Stadium in Port Arthur on it turned out to be a beautiful night for football, just a little on the warm side is all.
The wind picked up just before game time, surprisingly.
Yes,
and
it
we
was.
enjoy it. Holman rolling to his left, trying to find a man to pass to. It's deep into the end zone. The pass was intended for Ben Jeffrey. It's too tall for Ben and for the Thomas Jefferson defender who was back there with him. That would be Quito Means. And Quito, following step for step, the intended receiver, would not let him get close to the ball. It brings about a fourth down situation. Let's see if they're going to try something here, Joe.
I was wondering that very same thing. I don't know if this is too far out for him or not. Absolutely sitting down the tee, so it looks like we may be coming up for a field goal here.
Yeah, it looks like Lewis Ford, number 22, is going to attempt the field goal. He puts the tee down on about the 27 or 28-yard line, and it looks like a opportunity for
A timeout, absolutely. And we'll be back in 60 seconds. You're listening to High School Football on the PNG Broadcast Network. Just fine, because we're right in time for the kick.
We're waiting for the snap. Lou Ford puts his toe into it. The kick is kind of an obtuse type of rolling kick. It goes wide and incomplete. So the first scoring effort on the part of the PNG Indians goes for naught. And that means with 1:26 seconds still to play here in the first quarter of play, the ball goes over to the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets for only the second time in this contest tonight. Let's see if Damon West and his tandem of Henry and Fuentes and Quito Means can move this Thomas Jefferson offense just a little against the Indians of PNG. The ball resting square smack dab on the 21-yard line as Reitzel comes up over the ball. Damon West goes back one step and looks to his left, passes to his left, complete in the flat, and the man who takes the football cannot move. Bob Hayes it was, cannot move as the Indian defense moves right over there with him and fold him up and put him away. Colin Cobb is over there along with Lou Ford, and they stop the jacket thrust, and it's going to be second and still 10 needed for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. West looking for a call from the bench, tells his stalwarts, let's get after it. It's going to be second and 10. Ball resting on the 21-yard line, split wide to the right for Thomas Jefferson and wide to the left, ends in each side. West goes back, looks to pass. He's got a man open, but it's too tall for everybody, and defending is Mark Broussard along with the intended receiver for Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets, Quito Means. Incomplete the pass. It's going to be third down, still 10 needed for TJ, and we're less than a minute in the first quarter of play in the opening contest for Southeast Texas Golden Triangle football teams. Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets is playing at home. The Indians have invaded the Jackets' lair for this evening's contest. Third down, still 10 needed for Damon West, Port Arthur Yellow Jackets. He's got one man behind him. His ends and slot men split wide. The pass is too tall. It was intended for number 39, Lyndon Henry, and it goes incomplete. That means Thomas Jefferson will have to kick the football away to the Port Neches Groves Indians in the closing moments of this first quarter of play.
You know, that was a heartbreaker for Henry. Anytime a receiver can get his fingers on the ball, he feels like he might have been able to catch it. And
it's a heartbreaker not to be able to do so. Chris Maddox and Lewis Ford are back on their own 43, 44-yard line waiting for the kick. The snap is good. The punter puts his toe into a low kick, and it looks like it's angling toward Lewis Ford. Lou Ford picks it up on the 45, moves across the 50, driven out of bounds on the 49-yard line, and it's from that point PNG will go to work first and 10 in the closing seconds of the first quarter of play.
Port Neches has not started with bad field position anytime tonight.
Not at all for this contest this evening. PNG, Chris Maddox, Talley, Whitehead, Harrington, Hargroder, and Hawkins, along with Aaron Wilson across the forward wall. In the backfield with Brandon Oman, the quarterback, are Jake Lafort, Ruben Sauceda, and Ben Jaffrey. We've got Sauceda and Lafort directly behind the quarterback. Oman turns, hands it to Ruben Sauceda, who tries the left side, trying to follow the blocks of his tackle and guard on the left side. That would be Talley and Whitehead. He meets the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets on about their 47-yard line. They fold him up and put him away after a 2-yard gain, no more. It's going to be second and 8 for the Indians from that point.
And the Indians continue to grind it out on the ground here tonight.
And so does the clock, Joe.
Absolutely.
That's all there is in the first quarter of play. It's the Indians nothing, the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets nothing. We'll be back after this 60-second word.
Not. No score in this ball game. It's been a great ball game. You're listening tonight to the PNG Football Network with Joe Arnold, John Stevens, and Henry Larcade. We're glad that you've joined us. Brand new team for each of us, and we're glad to be together.
Thank you very much, Joe. And we're in the second quarter of play, ladies and gentlemen. And with that second quarter of play, the inimitable spirit of football at its best. Henry Larcade.
Thank you very much, John Stevens. And that was an exciting first quarter. You did a great job, but you didn't let anybody score. So we're going to try to change that to second quarter. As John told you at the In the closing minutes of the first quarter, the Indians still own the football. Their offensive team is on the field. The Jackets are looking across, waiting for the officials to get the clock going so our second quarter can get underway. We've gone through a scoreless first quarter on a warm, muggy evening here at Yellow Jacket Stadium in Port Arthur. And John, we're sitting here reminiscing while you did the first quarter of play of the first game we saw here in 1944. We won't mention the score, but we've seen many contests between the Indians and the Yellow Jackets since 1944. And this is another in a long series. Brandon Oman brings his ball club up to the line of scrimmage. A man split wide to the right, a man split wide to the left, and Oman fakes once, then keeps it, rolls to his right side, gets a block, breaks into the Jacket secondary across the 40, the 30, inside the 30 to the 25, down to the 22, but there is a flag on the play. Ricky Lipsby in the Yellow Jacket secondary finally brought him down, but they're bringing the play back up.
No.
A flag was thrown just as Brandon Oman crossed the line of scrimmage around the 45-yard line, but the officials say, hold everything, bring it back up, we want to talk about it, and let's see what happened.
What a wonderful run by Oman.
What a heartbreaker.
Oh, it's just, that just lets the wind out of your sails, so to speak.
That brought the Indian fans across the way to their feet, there's no doubt about it.
And a holding call has brought them back.
Okay, the line of scrimmage will now be the Indian 44-yard line as they look at second down. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, second down. And now the Yellow Jackets will need about 18 yards. The Indians will need about 18 yards for a first down. They're still on their side of the playing field. No scores. Our second quarter gets underway. Don't know what the temperature is, but whatever it is up here, it's 15 to 20 degrees cooler on the playing field. Oman brings his ball club up to the line of scrimmage. Fakes once on a keeper. Same play, looking for the same hole, and he finds a small opening as he crosses the 45 out to about the 48, where he meets number 52 of Thomas Jefferson, Daryl Johnson, along with Raymond James, number 64, and they stop him after a pickup of about 4, maybe 5 yards, depending on where we get the spot, and give Oman a good grade for a good effort that time. Keto Means up from the secondary to give some assistance also. And let's see, where are they going to spot it? They're going to spot it at the Indian 47, so that'll set up a third down, still about 13 yards needed for the first.
You know, for a small hole, he really got a lot out of that.
He got a good effort. Okay, hold everything. I believe the Indians are going to have a penalty assessed against them again.
Absolutely.
This time for too much time. They couldn't get their act together quickly enough, so it's going to cost them 5 yards as the officials move the football back now to the Indian 42.5-yard line, and that'll set up a third and long. We'll call it about 21, 22, somewhere in that area, or at least 18, we'll call it. And let's see what Coach Tim Owens and the Indians can come up with this time. As Owens sends us an in split wide to the left, a flanker in the slot to the left. He rolls to the left, gets a good block, finds a man almost in the open. That was Aaron Wilson, number 47. And Oman tried to hit, but the pass was a little too low. Wilson couldn't hang on to it. It's incomplete, and that'll set up a fourth down for Thomas Jefferson.
Oman was hit right as he tried to deliver the ball.
Right, he was hit by Victor Mancera of the Yellow Jackets, a defensive end, and that'll force the Indians into a punt formation. Lou Ford standing back at his own 28-yard line. The Yellow Jacket receiver will be back around the Thomas Jefferson 27. That's Keto Means, and Ford gets a high kick. Means calling for a fair catch, then steps back and decides to let it roll free. The Indians kill it at about the 33, 34-yard line, somewhere in that area. And the Yellow Jackets will go to work once again with a 1st and 10 at that point. 10:15 remaining in the second quarter. Still no score in our ball game.
We were mentioning the weather conditions. There wasn't a breath of air, hardly a breeze at all before game time. John Stevens and I were standing out on the deck.
No, we were gasping.
Yes, absolutely. It was kind of... And then just before game time, it kicked up at least 15 miles an hour, and now it's gone again. Look at the flag, John. Just dead.
That's right.
All right. It's got to be hot out there.
Back to play now. 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets from their own 34-yard line as West sets up his ball club. Pitches back to the trailing back, number 1. That's Fuentes, and Fuentes can find very little running room. He is stopped just as he crossed the line of scrimmage.
David Merriman for Port Neches really put it on him in the backfield.
And that'll set up a 2nd and 9 now for the Yellow Jackets. The line of scrimmage marked at the Yellow Jacket 35.5. 9:50 remaining in the second quarter. Still no score in our ball game. as West sends receivers split wide to either side. A man in the slot position on the left side. Long count by West. He's checking with his offensive team to make sure everybody has the right signal. And he tries a pass on the left side intended for number 84. 84 was, let's see, he's not on our program. So he came off the bench. We didn't know who he was, but the pass is too tall, but there's a flag on the play. And I believe I detected an infraction against the Indians that time, a little holding. But we'll wait for the officials to call it. And I think that is the correct call. The Indians are guilty of holding, so that'll cost them some yardage as the officials pick up the football and move it closer to the midfield stripe. And they'll finally spot it where? Well, we'll wait and see where they finally spot it.
Looks like it's going to be on about the 46-yard line and a first down.
Okay, that pass was intended for number 18 instead of 48, I believe it was. Okay, they're picking the ball up again. Okay, now we're getting it straight. The officials doing a good job, but this is the first ball game of the season for them also, so we'll all get together here and get on the same wavelength as the officials spot the ball at the Yellow Jacket 49-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jackets at that point. West is the quarterback. He hands off to Henry, and Henry trying the right side of the offensive line behind the blocks of the center Whitesell, Lee, the right guard, and the right tackle Derek Freeman. But Jeff Zampini smells the play out and drops them just as they get to the line of scrimmage, along with Danny Fuller, number 62, a 220-pound senior defensive lineman for PNG. Maybe a pickup of a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 9. Okay, West has his ball club set again. Receivers wide to both sides. A man in motion to the right side as West hands off to Henry once again, who finds a big hole on the right side, breaks into the Indian secondary across the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, and Colin Cobb, number 80 for the Indians, along with Jarrett Romero, finally dropping at the Indian 25-yard line. I'll make it the 28-yard line, but it's good enough for a first down deep in Indian territory, and the Jackets on the move now with their deepest penetration so far in tonight's football game.
Good blocking set up that run. You have to give credit where credit is due, and without those blockers out there, the running back can do virtually nothing. Credit goes to the whole offense on that one.
Okay, West hands off to number 1, Fuentes, who tries the right side over right guard and right tackle and finds some daylight as he gets inside the 25 down to about the 22, perhaps the 23-yard line. And the Indians drop him at that point, led by Jeff Zampini, who did a good job last year for the Indians and apparently is not missing a step this year either.
Another great run by Thomas Jefferson as they're working well to establish their running game here in the second quarter with 8 minutes left to play until the half. We still have no score at Memorial Stadium.
2nd down, 4 yards needed for the first down as West hands off to Henry once again, and Henry tries the left side, breaks into the clear, gets a block. Breaks loose from one tackler, breaks loose from another, sidesteps another, inside the 10, the 5, and into the end zone for the first score of the evening. To put the Yellow Jackets on the scoreboard. 6 for the Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson, nothing for the Indians of PNG, with the point after attempt coming up very shortly.
Mark Broussard, number 11, was the last chance Fort Neches had at stopping this touchdown, and no go. Mark couldn't hold him.
That was a 23-yard scamper by Henry, and number 8, Saban. We're going to call him Saban, and I'll tell you why later on. He'll attempt the point after. The ball is down, the kick is in the air, and it is good. So with 7:51 remaining in the second quarter of play, our score is now the Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson 7, the Indians of PNG 0.
Thomas Jefferson is set to kick off after scoring a wonderful touchdown. Amazing run.
Okay, the Jackets kick it off, and it's fielded back in Indian territory, deep in the territory, and bobbled momentarily. That's number 14, Ricky Lipsky, trying to run it out from inside the 5, gets out to about the 10, perhaps the 11-yard line. After bobbling the ball momentarily, down very quickly was Jarrett Romero of Thomas Jefferson. And we're going to have, Jarrett Romero of Port Neches Groves Indians trying to return that kick. I had it backwards here. But we got it straight now. First game of the season.
He was hit hard by Thomas Jefferson's Coy Prevost.
Right.
He's a senior, and he walloped him.
He put the stops to him very quickly. I was so excited with that score. John didn't have any scores in his quarter, so we decided to have a score and get excited. Joe, timeout on the play.
That's quite all right. We'll be back in 60 seconds. You're listening to High School Football on the PNG Broadcast Network.
A proud sponsor of Port Neches Groves football, Dr. Doug Baker, General Dentistry and staff, wish Port Neches Groves Indians the best football season ever. For years now, the Indians have gone through the roof season after season. This year, 94.1 and Dr. Doug Baker, General Dentistry, have teamed up to bring it to you live every Friday night. Once again, Dr. Doug Baker, General Dentistry, an official sponsor of Port Neches Groves football, wishes the Indians another barn burner of a season.
And we're back at Memorial Stadium, where Port Neches Groves has taken their first down from the line of scrimmage, only to receive a penalty. And they're moving it back at least 5 yards. I didn't catch the call.
Okay, it was 1st and 10 to go from the 11-yard line. The Indians moved prematurely and were assessed a 5-yard penalty, so the down remains the same. First down, the Indians now attempting to move from their own 6-yard line as Brandon Oman fakes once, spins, and tries to keep it, but he is met inside the 5-yard line by Damon Fisher, or Demond Fisher, however you want to pronounce it, and he is dropped for a loss back near the goal line. They're going to spot it, let's see. I can't see the ball from here, but somewhere around the 2 or 3 yard line. Let's call it the 3.5 yard line by the position of the pole across the field. And it'll set up a 2nd and 18 yards needed for the first down for the Indians from deep in their own territory. The Jackets out in front with 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the second period by a score of 7-0, and the Indians in trouble with their backs against the wall, trying to move out from the shadow of their own goalpost as Oman tries to fire a pass in the left flat intended for number 26, Jeff Zampini, but Zampini couldn't hold on to it. It was almost intercepted by Thomas Jefferson, and the incompletion will set up a 3rd and 18 for TJ from about their own 3-yard line.
Keto Means was as surprised as anybody. The ball bounced right off of his uniform.
Yeah. Oman simply rifled that one in, and it looked like it bounced off the receiver's shoulder pads.
Let's see what Coach Tim Owens pulls out of his bag of tricks now, as the Indians, as we said, with their backs up against their own goal line, try to come out and get some breathing room. Oman sends receivers wide to both sides, everybody else in tight, and Oman drops back in his own end zone to pass, can find no one in the clear, decides to keep it and run straight up the middle, but he's met at the line of scrimmage by number 64, I believe it is, of the Yellow Jackets, Raymond James, a senior, and stopped for no gain, so that'll set up a 4th and long, perhaps a pickup of a yard, but it'll still be 17 yards needed for the first down as the Indians attempt to punt from deep in their own end zone. Keto Means is back deep for the Jackets, and the punt is in the air, but the flags go down, and Means calls for, he's just going to let it roll dead. But hold everything far back upfield in the end zone. Flags were thrown, and I believe we're going to have a procedure penalty against the Indians. So let's see what the Jackets decide to do. They may keep the play. Coach Owens making the decision on the sidelines, and we'll find out momentarily as number 14 for the Yellow Jackets, Ricky Lipsby, talks it over with the officials, and they decide to bring it back upfield. So they're going to put the Jackets deeper in the hole.
Here's an amateur coaching contest. What would you do, Joe?
I think I would do exactly what Coach Mike Owens did. There, did I win?
You bet.
Okay.
Half the distance to the goal, and let him try it again. Let's see if we can stop that punt.
Yeah. Better a safety than starting at the 45-yard line.
Okay, Eddie Bird is back deep and in the end zone as far back as he can get. His foot is just outside, or inside, I guess we should say, the stripe under the goalpost, and somebody's going to call timeout and talk it over. I think it's the Indians requesting a timeout, So 5:58 remaining in the second quarter. Our score, the Jackets 7, the Indians 0.
One more time, a punt from deep in their own end zone.
Okay, Eddie Bird standing in the shadow of his own goalpost, awaiting the snap from center. He gets a good snap, gets his kick away, a high kick, not too far downfield. Means will field it at the Yellow Jacket 37. Changes direction, sidesteps tackler from PNG and moves up to about the 30. And he is brought down by Jarrett Romero of the Indians. But the Yellow Jackets take over now in pretty good field position. 1st and 10. The ball will be marked at about the Indian 30, we'll call it the 29-yard line.
5:46 left to play in the second quarter. Our score here at Memorial Stadium, Thomas Jefferson 7, Fort Neches Groves 0. Thomas Jefferson scoring early in the second quarter.
Seems like it took a while for the Yellow Jacket offense to get clicking, but in the last couple of series, they've been moving very, very well as West sets up his ball club, one back behind West, in split to either side, and West fires one intended for number 48, Bob Hayes, the senior, who had worked his way inside the 20 and couldn't hold on to the football. It hit him in the wrong place. It hit him in the numbers, and Colin Cobb was a defender for the Indians.
It looked like he tried to start to turn and run before he really had his hands on the ball.
He was sure he had it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, this is the first game of the season, and we're not being critical, and nobody hates it worse than the young man who missed the football.
Exactly right.
Okay, second down now for the Yellow Jackets at the Indian 30-yard line as West puts receivers out wide to either side. One running back lined up behind him. Hard-charging Indian defense, but West sets up the screen and fires one complete to Fuentes over the middle. And Fuentes fights his way down to the 20 before the Indians can stop him. They're led by Lou Ford up from the secondary, but I believe it's going to be just a little bit short of the first down, so call it a pickup of 9 yards on the screen pass complete from West to Fuentes, and set up a 3rd and 1 for the Yellow Jackets, operating now from the Indian 21.
West has stamina. He knew he was going to get hit, and he certainly did. As soon as he released the football, he took a hit.
Number 34 for Thomas Jefferson. Means a split wide to the left, and Hayes wide to the left side as the handoff goes to number 2, Durisso of Thomas Jefferson, who finds a little daylight, perhaps enough for the first down as he moves inside the 20 down to about the 18-yard line. And that'll be enough for the first down for Thomas Jefferson. So they're continuing to move the football with about 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the second quarter, and the Yellow Jackets out in front by a score of 7-0. They continue this series with a 1st and 10 at the Indian 16-yard line, they say on the scoreboard, but I believe it's closer to the 18. We'll see. Let's see what West comes up with this time. He hands off to the trailing back, number 29, I believe, 39, Lyndon Henry. 29, I'm sorry, Berkins, sophomore ball carrier. Berkins tries the left side for short yardage. He fights his way up into Indian territory a little bit deeper. Pickup is good for about a yard. So set up a 2nd and 9 now for the Yellow Jackets from the Indian 17-yard line. That was Berkins carrying the ball. First time we've seen him this evening.
4 minutes left in this half.
All right, West looks over the Indian defense, sets up his offense. Quick count. And West drops back. He's in trouble, and he'll be thrown for a loss back to about the Indian 26-yard line. So no good. Jarrett Romero came charging in for the Indians of PNG and dropped the Yellow Jacket quarterback for a loss as the officials spot the ball on about the 25-yard line. And the loss will set up a 3rd and about 18 yards needed for the first down for Thomas Jefferson.
Great coverage in the PNG secondary kept West from finding an open receiver and gave plenty of time for the Fort Neches boys to get in there on top of him.
Okay, same offensive set for Thomas Jefferson as Henry gets the call from West and sidestep one defender in the Yellow Jacket backfield, breaks loose on the left side across the 20, inside the 15, down near the 10-yard line before number 47 of PNG. That was Aaron Wilson. And I think Jarrett Romero had a piece of the action also. And that's going to be short of the first down by about 1 yard. So now, decision time for the Yellow Jackets. What do you call in a situation like this? The line of scrimmage is the 10-yard line. You need 1 yard for a first down. You're leading in the ball game with 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter of play. 4th and 1.
I give it to Mr. Henry and say go.
But we're not going to give it to Mr. Henry. We're going to give it to Mr. Durisso. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce that? Durisso?
Durisso, yeah.
Okay. But they do pick up the first down. The play was a good call. It was successful. And the line of scrimmage will now be marked at about the 7.5-yard line. First and goal to go for the Yellow Jackets at that point. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter. PJ out in front by a score of 7-0. And they're knocking on the door once again deep in Indian territory. Okay, West pitches back to the same ball carrier. He was successful last time, so he follows his blockers on the left side over left guard and left tackle, and is stopped just short of the goal line, perhaps a half yard short of a touchdown by the Indian defenders, and there were about 5 or 6 of them over there. So it'll be second and goal to go for the Yellow Jackets deep in Indian territory. Zampini, Fuller, Cobb, and 2 or 3 others had a piece of the action. And now the Indians will request a timeout with John Gorner.
Yes, that wasn't James Garner. That wasn't James Garner, the TV star.
Okay. The handoff goes to Henry, I believe it is. And Henry, taking the handoff from Damon West, finds enough of a hole on the left side to fight his way into the end zone, dragging 2 Indian defenders with him. And the Yellow Jackets are on the scoreboard once again with 1:45 remaining in the second period of play. The score now reads 13 for the Yellow Jackets, nothing for the Indians, with the attempted point after coming up very shortly.
Mike Owens wanting very much a victory this year to start this team off right. Many people in the district think this year that Thomas Jefferson has the best chance to win a district title that it's had in several years. And for Mike Owens, this would set the tone for the rest of the season with a victory here tonight over Port Neches Groves. Of course, Tim Old, on the other hand, would like to do it as well, as there's a flag on the play.
Okay, Quito Means will hold, and Saburn will attempt the extra point from placement. Good snap from center. The ball is down. The kick is in the air, and it is good. So with 1:45 remaining in the second quarter, our score now reads the Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson 14, the Indians of PNG 0.
There's 1 minute and 45 seconds left to play in the first half, as Thomas Jefferson is assessed a 15-yard penalty for holding, and will be kicking off from their own 25-yard line.
And whoever did that was guilty of the penalty. I'm sure came to the sidelines and said, "Coach, I didn't mean to do that." That was strictly an accident. Kickoff by the Yellow Jackets, taken in by the Indians at their own 35, and the Indian ball carrier gets a couple blocks, moves across the 40, the 45, finally brought down by the Jacket defenders at the 47-yard line. So in the closing minute or two of the second quarter, and trailing by 14 points, the Indians go to work with a 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line.
1 minute and 39 seconds left for them to put something together to try to carry something other than a goose egg into the locker room with them at halftime.
Brandon Oman brings his ball club up. He sends a receiver wide to either side, has 2 running backs lined up in the I formation behind him, and he hands off to the second man through. That's number 33, Ruben Salcida. And Salcida finds a little daylight as he crosses the midfield stripe into Yellow Jacket territory, stopped at about the 48 by Paul Hope, a senior, up from the secondary of Thomas Jefferson to stop the Indian ball carrier. And the Indians go to work very quickly because they don't have much time to get something going. Holman takes the snap, drops back, looks for a receiver downfield, overthrows Aaron Wilson. And one of the Jackets may have had a chance for an interception, but he couldn't quite reach it either. So that incompletion sets up a 2nd and 6 now for the Indians. The line of scrimmage is the Yellow Jacket 48.
And Brandon Oman was sacked in the backfield after, well, I don't know if you would call that a sack because he'd already gotten rid of the ball, but he was certainly dumped. Raymond James, the biggest person on the Thomas Jefferson football team, 287 pounds.
Okay, 3rd and 6 for the Indians as Ullman drops back to pass, and he intends it for Wilson, and the ball bounces off of Wilson's shoulder, is taken in by number 11, Mark Broussard, who was over in the area to offer some blocking support, apparently, for Mr. Wilson, but he takes the ball as it bounces into his hands. It's marked up as a completion.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't, but it gives the Indians new life. 1st and 10 now from the Yellow Jacket 27-yard line. Ullman up very quickly with his team. Throws a little quick pass to the left side, intended for number 88, Ben Jeffrey, but Jeffrey couldn't hang on to it, but it does stop the clock with the incompletion. Ricky Lipsey of Thomas Jefferson was over defending, and he had no chance for it either, so it'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Indians at the Yellow Jacket 26-yard line with 57 seconds remaining in the first half of play.
How long do you have to practice that bank shot pass that they're hitting?
Not long enough. Ullman fakes a pass, then hands off to the tailback, number, is it Suseda? Yes. And he can find very little daylight straight up the middle, perhaps a half yard at the most. So it'll be 3rd and 10 now for the Indians at the Yellow Jacket 26. And Ullman is dropping back to pass, gets pretty good protection. He's in trouble, and the ball squirts loose. Don't know if that'll be considered a fumble or an incomplete forward pass. Fisher was in for the Yellow Jackets to mess up the play, whatever they decide to call it. Is it a forward pass? No.
No, it's a fumble if they bring it back.
But the Indians retain possession, and this will be their last shot at it this quarter. The clock continues to roll with about 10 seconds remaining, so if they're going to get one more play off, they better hurry, but they seem to be in no hurry. They're looking at 4th and 17 at the Yellow Jacket 35, and apparently they're going to let the clock run out and go to the locker room trailing by 14 points. So there it is. The first half of play is history here at Yellow Jacket Stadium on a warm, muggy September. Tremendously hard chunking quarterback, has been throwing some rifle shots, but it's been difficult finding the receivers. Damon West on the playing field along with the Fort Neches Groves Indians' Jay Engel, speaking to the officials to try to decide exactly how the second half would be utilized. And Thomas Jefferson will be defending the south goal to our left, and P&G will be defending the north goal to our TJ is also number 22, Jarman Chavis. So let's see exactly how things, along with, it looks like Ivory has gone back there also. Carvane Ivory is back along with the others, and we're just ready, moments away from kickoff. Number 44 will be doing the kicking for P&G. Mr. Eddie Bird will do the... No, it isn't. It's number 22, Lou Ford. Lou Ford puts his toe into a boomer. Goes into the end zone and out off the backside of the playing field, out of play. The officials say it will be 1st and 10 from the 20, as this time number 34, Kato Means, really knows that the ball is out of bounds.
Absolutely.
Comes back up ready to play in this third quarter of play.
What a toe on Lou Ford.
Lou Ford
Man,
kicked it out of sight, didn't he?
That was great. Absolutely fantastic here on a Friday night. It's good to see good football in Southeast Texas. And you know, this matchup here, even though it's a long-standing rivalry, we're not in the same district anymore.
Weitzel up to the line of scrimmage for his quarterback, Damon West, who's got Lyndon Henry, the only man behind him. Split the ends wide, slot men on either side. West turns to his left, feeds the ball to Henry. Henry ambling to his left, tries to find some running room, beats the entire forward wall of the Indians, driven down. There's a flag on the play. You can say Bird, Fuller, Dupree, and McAfee were all responsible for helping to stop the man. Jarrett Romero, however, made the first contact and finally drove him down for absolutely no gain.
And we'll have just gotten underway in the third quarter, the second half of this ball game. And the ball will be marked off
half the distance of the playing field. The infraction obviously was a big one, and so it will be Thomas Jefferson first and now about 17, maybe 18 yards from the line of scrimmage, which is now just inside the 10. Waiting for the snap. Damon West has it. He goes back about 4 paces. He looks for a man. Lyndon Henry he has. Receives the ball just inside the sideline and moves up across the 20 to about the 25-yard line before he's driven down. They say his knee touched down a little short. It probably will be the 23 that they'll bring it back to. And so Henry, on the completed pass, picks up all of that yardage that they were penalized, plus a couple more. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. Lou Ford, the man who finally drug him down. Split wide for Thomas Jefferson. Cato Means over on the right. Going back, fake first to one man, hands it to Henry again, this time on a reverse. Henry moving from left to right behind the blocks of his halfback, a blocking back, and the right side of his line. Lee and Freeman crosses the line of scrimmage and picks up about 4. It's going to be 3rd and about 5 for Thomas Jefferson. Zampini and Engel in on the stop for the Indians.
Henry's a hard-hitting ball carrier.
He knows how to run the ball, no doubt about it. Paul Hope split wide on the left, and number 34, Cato Means, wide on the right. 2 men behind the quarterback, faking first to one, goes back to pass. He's looking for a receiver. He's got a man. It's number 93. That would be Trey Story. The ball is a little too low, bounces off the knee of Story, incomplete. Lou Ford back there defending for the Indians of P&G.
Lou Ford,
4th down.
He was right on the mark, right where he was supposed to be, in perfect position to defend against that pass.
So it'll be a punting situation for Thomas Jefferson, going back deep. Chris Maddox standing on his own 40, number 22. Lou Ford standing side by side with him, about 5 yards apart. The punt is up. It looks like Ford is the up man for it. He takes it, receives it on the 47, moves across the 50, inside Jacket territory to about the 48-yard line. A lot of bumping, a lot of pushing, a lot of tackling, and the ball is down along with the runner on about the 47-yard line inside Jacket territory.
The officiating is superb tonight, as usual.
Doriso, the man who brought him down. You're absolutely right, Joe. Officiating has been absolutely yeoman.
Our referee tonight is Jerry McNeil. The umpire is Tommy Lotta. Line judge, Lonnie Majors. Back judge, Billy Joe Hicks.
10:30 in the third quarter. The ball is snapped. The flags fly. It looks like maybe a delay of game or illegal procedure. Let's see what the officials say. Usually when the flag is thrown prior to the snap, illegal procedure or delay.
It's a procedure penalty, John.
The procedure penalty will be assessed against the Indians. That means they move it back 5 more yards. It'll be now 1st and 15 for the Indians. The ball resting inside their end of the playing field on the 48.
P&G starting once again with good field position. As of yet, though, unable to do anything with it.
Trying to settle down. Brandon Ullman trying to get a little more confidence into his ball players, saying, take your time, man. He passes to number 6. That would be David Kendrick. And David Kendrick takes the ball sort of offsided. He was off balance, did complete the reception, however, and as he turned around, had his heels clicked together and dropped for about a 3-yard gain, no more.
That's
2nd 7.
Ullman's first completion of the night.
Well, actually, the first one in this half. You remember he had a ricochet shot completed
true. I
in the
remember that
second
now.
quarter of play. On his handoff to number 3, Ruben Saucedo, flags fly everywhere. It looks like every official on the playing field knew something was amiss.
Offsides against the Indians.
Offside is called against, or illegal procedure against the Indians of P&G once again, and that means that the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets will be improving the field position for their benefit, and they accept the penalty. It'll be a second down situation, and again, about 12 yards from the line of scrimmage for the Indians of P&G. Split, wide, slot man to the left, wide, in to the right. Holman goes back to pass, rolling to his right, looking for a receiver, almost intercepted as number 18, it was Paul Hope, who was in position to intercept the football. In his excitement, watched it trickle away, incomplete, and both the interceptor and the receiver were despaired after that particular play.
Paul will dream about that tonight.
Oh, yeah, and he'll blame nobody worse than himself.
That's true, yeah.
So it's going to be a third down situation for the Indians of Tim Owen as they'll break the huddle up to the line of scrimmage, and Elliot Harrington bows under, waiting for the quarterback's count. Quarterback takes a short count. The snap is into his hands. Owen rolls to his right, looking for a receiver, and it looks to me like he has Josh Davis, perhaps, or it was, I think,
Aaron Wilson, huh?
Was it Wilson instead of Josh Davis? Very well could have been his tight end, Aaron Wilson, number 47, covering up. To his right, on the option, chooses to keep. Seconds here in the third quarter of play, second down and about 9 for the Indians of P&G. Splitting wide to the left is Ben Jeffrey. He's got a slot man just inside him. That would be Mitch Bynum. All the activity, however, goes to the weak side, and there is Aaron Wilson, who was the intended receiver. Third down is going to greet the Indians of P&G as another miscue causes an incompleted pass. So Mr. Oman is faced with a third down situation, not able to move this Indian team as the Thomas Jefferson defensive juggernaut have kept them in check in this ball game tonight. Oman rolling to his left, trying to find a man. He's looking for a receiver. He thinks he's got Jeffrey. It's too long and too tall, and rolls incomplete. It brings about a fourth down situation and probably a punting situation for the Indians of P&G. This would be a good time for Tim Owen, however, to try the kicking toe of a soccer-style kicker that he has in his lineup.
Absolutely.
We'll see what the play calls for, though. David Kendrick checks into the lineup for P&G with a play, and I think Tim Owen is saying, nah, it's fourth down, you're in Jacket territory, why don't you see if you can get a first down. Oman rolls to his left, looking for a receiver. He's got a screen pass to Aaron Wilson. The Jackets smell out the play all the way. On the completed pass, Wilson is snuffed out by Jose Perez. And number 6, Mr. Perez, is the man of the moment defensively for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets, and they'll take over on downs from P&G. The ball will be rest one man behind him. He's got a running back shoulder to shoulder with him, and slot men to the right, an end split wide to the left. That would be Bob Hayes. West has got everybody in position. He goes back, 4 quick steps, looking for a receiver. The ball is intercepted by Lou Ford. Lou Ford taking the ball high over his shoulder, moves across the 40, the 45,
still on his feet.
The 50. Still on his feet as he moves across the 40 in TJ territory, breaking one, then another tackle, driven out of bounds inside the 35-yard line of Thomas Jefferson. Mr. Ford, running the ball back on the interception, did a marvelous job.
What a spectacular play to get this Port Neches team fired up once again tonight.
That is a key phrase, Joe. That may be exactly what that type of defensive play will bring about on the part of the Indians of PNG. They've been looking for an inspiration play, and that's all you can call a beautiful play by Lou Ford, intercepting the forward pass, bringing it back to the 32-yard line inside TJ territory. Timeout on the playing field.
We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to High School Football on the PNG Broadcast Network.
O'Hare's Bar and Grill, 240 I-10 South in Beaumont, home of the biggest, best burger in town, has super daily specials just in time for football. Catch all your favorite college or pro games all weekend on any of O'Hare's 9 TV screens, local, cable, and satellite. All-you-can-eat catfish and shrimp, $9.99, and charcoal grilled steak every Saturday, $9.99. Bring your high school ticket stub and get $2 off any O'Hare's food item. Good each week, Friday through Thursday. O'Hare's Bar and Grill, 240 I-10 South, Beaumont. Football, food, and fun, only at O'Hare's.
And we're back at Memorial Stadium.
On this first play, on this particular series, Brandon Oman takes the snap from center, and he fumbles the ball for just a moment, turns, feeds the football to Sauceda. Sauceda is snuffed out, and the ball is stripped from the runner's hands, and Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets recover the fumble.
Just as easy as you can get momentum, you can lose it in a football game.
You can bet. Mancera, Johnson, Fisher, and James were all inspired to try to stop the runner, and Raymond James it was who came up with the ball for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets, and the fortunes of war can change very quickly on the field of friendly strife.
8 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third quarter. Our score, Thomas Jefferson 14, PNG 0.
It's TJ's ball, 1st and 10. They're operating from the 32-yard line. They're into the playing field. West checking the play. Turns, gives a new signal to his runners, and as he turns, he hands the ball back to the man who's trailing him. That's number 29, I beg your pardon, and 29 would be Elijah Burkins, and Burkins cannot grind out too much as the flags fly as he is churning his way across the line of scrimmage, across the 35, and let's see what the officials will say.
PNG players upset with themselves.
The officials are indicating a face mask penalty, I believe.
And there is one official who's really confused. He picks up the football and starts marching toward the TJ goal. And Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets say, just a moment. And he turns around, corrects himself, marches back toward the north end of the playing field, 5 yards, and it will be a 1st and now 5 for the Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson and Damon West.
Just wanted to see if they were watching what he was doing.
Damon West checking the play. Turns, feeds it to the first man through. That would be Fidencio Fuentes. Fuentes finding a little running room across the 40, the 45, up to about the 46 or 7-yard line. The ball nosing up against the 47-yard line before he is dropped for the count. It's going to be 2nd and less than a yard. They're going to bring the chain in just to measure, and while they bring that chain in, I'm going to take this opportunity to say, you know, it's just as quick as we had indicated a while ago. A tremendous interception on the part of Lewis Ford, and Lou Ford moving down brought the Indians into excellent position, but a miscue on an opening night, and you know, it's opening night jitters. A miscue can be very costly, and it was on that particular series as the fortunes of war changed completely. Thomas Jefferson recovering the fumble, and now they're back on the move, moving toward the north end of the playing field, and where the PNG Indians were looking at an offensive thrust, they now are playing catch-up defense, and that's about the only way you can call it.
I think the most impressive thing that has caught me tonight from the Thomas Jefferson offense is how steady they are and how absolutely methodical they run down the field.
That's thunder, isn't it? Is that thunder? What is that?
Somebody's stereo downstairs.
Oh, well, the boombox is really working overtime.
And Damon West is
goes
too.
Back to pass. He's got a man deep. And down with Mark Broussard was step for the intended receiver, who was Cato Means. And they were on about the 20-yard line. The ball looked like it may just fall right into the hands of the intended receiver, Means. And Broussard, on the very last moment, stuck his hand up there and slapped it away. A very, very timely defensive move on the part of the Indians.
If that was not for Broussard, that would have been a touchdown.
No
we would
doubt
have been
about
calling
it.
just
You're right,
then.
Joe. Hank, I thought that there was thunder in the west, but what you're telling me, it was boom box.
It was a boom box.
Down south.
Not about it.
Boy. All right, third down. Less than a yard needed for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. He gives it to his running back, and the man ducks his head and pumps it right into the middle of the line. Did the Indians hold? They'll let the officials make the call, and they say no. They stopped him short of the first down by about 6 or 7 inches. It was Jay Ingle who went in and stuck a helmet into the intended runner, or the runner who was carrying the ball for the intended first down, and stopped Thomas Jefferson short. Fourth down, less than a yard needed. TJ brings the kicking team onto the playing field, and that means it's going to be Lou Ford and number 46 for the Indians of P&G, Chris Maddox, deep, and Thomas Jefferson will be kicking from about their own 34. The shortest, the snap is a fake. It's to the short man who tries to plunge into the left side of the, on the right side of the line, and in that excitement, we're as confused as most of the fans because it was a perfect kicking situation, and Mike Owens, trying a little razzle-dazzle, may have pulled it off. Let's see exactly what the officials say.
They say, let's take time out and measure.
Well, that sounds like a very intellectual choice.
Yes, very prudent at this point.
I would not hazard a guess. It's too close for comfort, as they say in the business. And so the men with the striped shirts have all the authority, and they're accepting it and utilizing it right now.
Coach on the sideline says, hey, official, what is it? Official says 2.
They did not achieve their intended goal. The ball goes over on downs and across the way. The Indian fans are just ecstatic. So put the necessary patches onto the offense of the P&G Indians. They'll take the ball over on downs. They'll be operating inside Jacket territory on about the 46-yard line. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for Brandon Oman's Indians as they go to play. Split wide to the left, Ben Jeffrey. Slot man to the right, also back a step from the side. The long count drags the Jackets from across the way. They make contact. Let's see if they were drawn off or if they just missed the count and were caught offside. Offsides against Thomas Jefferson earns the Indians 5 extra yards, and there's a patch on the Indian offense as number 6 for P&G, David Kendricks, brings a play in from the bench. Tim Owen trying to get the necessary combination to get his Indians on the scoreboard. Oman brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Quick count. He drops the ball. He has to pick it up and eat it as the Jackets just swarm all over him. It looked like killer bees there for just a moment as the Jackets were there trying to keep him from moving anywhere. However, his forward momentum may have carried him across the 40 to about the 39-yard line, no further, and it was going to be Mancera, the first contact, and it'll be 2nd down for the Indians. It's only about 4 needed, but remember, they gained 5 of that via the penalty route. Oman brings his stalwarts up to the line of scrimmage. He's got 3 backs behind him, spread a man wide, and Oman drops the ball again, picks it up, and on the miscue, the Jackets eat him alive.
Now, they're going to have to stop that, obviously.
That snap, he's having a little trouble controlling the snap from center. Ryan Pinckney and Lyndon Henry swoop him up and stop him short. It's going to be 3rd down, still 4 needed for the Indians of P&G as Brandon Oman is trying to put it together, is having some difficulty with control, and Tim Owen bringing in a new play from the bench, trying to find out if there's a combination that he can put together. Mitch Bynum split wide to the right, Kendrick wide to the left. All the activity right up the middle of Main Street, however, and the Jackets smell it out from the inception. Stop the man short. It's going to be 4th down as Raymond James stops the quarterback right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe the loss of a yard.
It looks like they had another miscue there and a little confusion on the line as to who was to take that ball from Oman.
There's just a little problem with the exchange, and I'm sure that when they get back to the bench in just a moment, there's going to be some discussion about what it takes.
I would imagine
and
so.
You can bet that they're trying as hard as possible on this 4th down effort. Timeout on the playing field, Joe.
We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to High School Football on the PNG Broadcast Network.
Junos is proud to be one of 1993's official P&G Indian football sponsors. Junos, located at 2828 Nolan, Port Neches, handles all contemporary and traditional furnishings. Highland House, Stanley, Flex Steel, Pulaski, Mayo, and all other brand names. When building a home or redecorating...
And Oman and his stalwarts come back on the playing field. All right, let's see what Brandon Oman's able to do on this fourth down effort. He's got the ball, moves to his right, trying to find some running room. He's bumped once, twice, breaks the tackle. No, he's snuffed out right at the line of scrimmage on that fourth down effort. Raymond James would not be taken out of the play completely, and on that fourth down effort, the P&G Indians were not able to garner enough yards for the first down. The ball goes over to Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets, and it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 41 inside Jacket territory for Damon West's Maroon and Gold.
Great effort from the P&G offense.
Behind West is Fuentes and Henry. Split man wide, right and left. West gives it, however, to Lyndon Henry. Henry breaking it out over the right side between tackle and guard on the right. Moves to just a yard or two to his right, and it was not 39 but 29. Burkins, who is carrying the football for the Maroon and Gold. Thank you very much, Henry. We're so accustomed to seeing 39 run from that position that we're eager to give him credit, but we also do not want to miss the opportunity to give each of these ball players their due.
Absolutely.
Just desserts, as it were.
Lyndon Henry's taking a break on the sideline. He plays both ways.
Second and 5 for the Jackets. West turns, shovels it back to Burkins again. Burkins round the right side, following the blocks on his right side. The end moving everything toward the center of the playing field. Offensively for the block, moves the ball across the 50. It's going to be short of the first down by less than a yard. It's going to be third and about a half a yard for Thomas Jefferson as they go back into play. Jason Weitzel breaks out of the huddle first, comes out over the football, split wide to the left, Bob James. Wide to the right, number 34, Cato Means. West, however, feeds it right into the middle, and there's thunder as the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets meet the horde of the Indian Wampum as Danny Fuller, Dupree, Eddie Bird, David Merriman all swarm in there to stop the runner short of the first down. It's going to be a fourth down effort for Thomas Jefferson. Now, the last time they did this or had this opportunity, it was a fake kick. Will they kick it this time? Only the shadow knows. Lou Ford goes deep for the Indians of P&G, standing on his own 22. We've got a man deep for Thomas Jefferson in kicking position. He does take it on the bounce, puts his toe into an end-over-ender. Ford takes it over his shoulder on about the 15, moves to his right, breaks one tackle, is snuffed out on the second effort of a tackle by the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. Number 2, Duricio is the man defensively down there to stop Mr. Ford from going anywhere. So the Indians will take over deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 in the closing 2.5 minutes of this third quarter of play. Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets really owning the football mostly in the third quarter have kept P&G from really doing anything. A lot of problems P&G has had in this third quarter of play. Let's see if Mr. Oman can put it all back together as he's trying to find what it takes to gel the offense. He takes the snap, moves to his right, trying to find a slot that he can slip through. However, the Yellow Jackets smell it out also, and they stop all the holes defensively and stop the efforts of Mr. Oman. Paul Hope put his helmet, the big maroon helmet of the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets, into the runner right away and drilled him down. The entire Jacket left side of the defensive wall then swarmed over him and stopped him short. It's going to be an effort on the part of the officials to clarify.
There's a flag on the play.
On the play.
There's a penalty indicated against both sides.
Okay. Offsetting penalties, say the officials, so we're going to see what the call is as the coaches get in and want to know what the explanation might be. Thomas Jefferson's coaches are trying to get some information from off the playing field. They're asking Fuentes to come over and try to give them an idea of what's taking place. He feeds that information to the coaching staff, goes back into his lineup, and let's see defensively what Thomas Jefferson is planning to do. Let's see. It looked like a holding penalty. And now the officials pick up the football from the 10-yard line and start marching back toward the south goal. And they step off what would be about 7 yards. It had to be a half the distance to the goal on one penalty, and then part of that penalty was assessed on the other side. The 5 yards that they needed against the Jackets actually puts the playing ball.
John, they marked off 5 against Port Neches and stepped off 15 the other way against the...
So P&G has it 1st and 5 as they're operating from just outside the 20. Ullman on the keeper, rolling to his left, trying to find someone to give him a little help as he turns the corner and moves it across the 25 to about the 28-yard line before he's tripped up by Ricky Lipsy. And the ball will be on the 28. It's going to be a first down for the Indians in this series. They're thrilled to get that first down.
Absolutely.
So Brandon Ullman, trying to find a little daylight, does so. It's a whole new series now for the Indians. Up to the line of scrimmage, split them wide, right and left. He takes one step back, looks for a receiver, throws the ball to Chris Maddox, wide in the right flat, incomplete, out of the reach of Maddox's hands. Jose Perez is right down there, step for step with him, but he did not need that effort defensively as the Indians were not able to complete the pass. Second, still 10 needed for the Indians of P&G, trying valiantly to get back into this contest tonight. 2 minutes, 10 seconds still to play in the third quarter of play as Port Neches is trying to put it together. The Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets lead it 14-0 in this contest. Ullman brings his stalwarts up to the line of scrimmage, strong side to the right. He rolls to his right, got plenty of time, looking for a receiver. However, it's intercepted. The pass was intended to David Kendrick. However, the pass floating as it did.
Bob, this quarter of play here at Memorial Stadium in Port Arthur.
2 running backs, shoulder to shoulder, about 3 yards behind Damon West. Split them wide, right and left. West gives it to James as Lyndon Henry, it is, trying to turn the corner on the right side. Number 39 this time tries to turn that corner, does so, but as he does so, he meets a whole host of Indians, and I do believe there's a yellow handkerchief down on the play. Let's see what the officials will rule it as the officials clutch the wrist with one hand. It's an indicator that there may be a holding penalty assessed against the maroon and gold, and the official picks up the football, starts to march toward the south goal, moves the ball across the 30 out to about the 27-yard line, and it's going to be Thomas Jefferson 1st and 20 as they'll be operating from their own 27. P&G defensively need to stop the TJ Maroon and Gold in this series and get the ball back. Let's see what Damon West's Maroon and Gold will do. West takes a snap, moves back 2 steps, throws the ball to the left flat. That is number 48, Bob Hayes. He takes it quickly, steps out of bounds after he receives the football. The defender over there with him is number 14, Jarrett Romero. Romero shoves him out of bounds, but not before they're able to pick up about 15 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 5 for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets with about a minute and a half left to play in this third quarter of play.
Thomas Jefferson seeming to be able to move the ball at will against Port Neches.
Damon West with a lot of poise too, Joe, showing his offensive might and his passing potential. Split him wide, right and left. He's got a slot man to his right, about 3 yards away from him. He turns, shovels the ball back to number 29. That's Berkins. Berkins trying to find something to turn to, and that is around the right side as he gets the blocks necessary to move the ball across the 50, enough for the first down. If the play stands, the officials say it does, the ball will be resting on the 48-yard line inside Indian territory. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Thomas Jefferson Yellow Jackets. Lou Ford, Mark Broussard in there defensively for the Indians, but not before Thomas Jefferson garners enough for a first down.
Just about out of time in this quarter, minute 8 and counting.
Damon West shouting a change of signal to his stalwarts. He bows under, gives it to the first man, Fuentes, who takes the ball from the right side of his position, moves laterally across the left side following the blocks of James and Prevost on the left side, moves across the 45 to about the 44-yard line before David Merriman kicks his heels together and stops him after a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 for the maroon and gold of Thomas Jefferson. P&G Indians having a hard time stopping the offensive juggernaut of the maroon and gold at this point. They've got their job cut out for them. West calling the signals, goes back to pass, flicks it about 5 yards to Fuentes on the screen. Fuentes takes it on the run, turns to the right, moves up to about the 45, may not have achieved the original line of scrimmage before he's knocked out of bounds by Jeff Zampini. Let's see what the officials will rule it, and we'll wait for that official ruling. There seems to be a brief timeout on the playing field, Joe.
We'll be back in about 60 seconds. You're listening to high school football on the P&G Broadcast Network.
For almost 40 years, First Bank and Trust has been a good neighbor in Groves, quietly and carefully growing into the largest independent bank in Southeast Texas. Now we're growing your way in both. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, non-transferable loan discount valid through December 31st, 1993. Mortgage, commercial, and indirect loans not included.
And we're back at
for the Indians of P&G. The Yellow Jackets on the football with a 1st and 10. With a 3rd and 6 at the Indian 44-yard line. So far, the Indians have not mustered much offensively in the second half this evening. They've had their problems with a series of fumbles, and the defense has their work cut out for them as West pitches back to Lyndon Henry, who moves wide to the right side, crosses the 45-yard line, and is upended at about the 41-yard line by David Merriman of the Indians. So the pickup is good for about 3, perhaps 4 yards. Shane Dupree also in defensively for the Indians of P&G.
Brings up a 4th down for Thomas Jefferson. 4th and about 3. Ball's on the 41-yard line of P&G.
As we said, our score remains 14 for Thomas Jefferson, nothing for the Indians. And the Yellow Jackets, looking at 4th and 3, are lining up in punt formation. Back deep for the Indians is Lou Ford. And let's see what the Jackets do. They're going to go ahead and punt the ball away. Good snap from center, a high punt. Lou Ford will field it at about the 11-yard line, fumbles the ball, picks it up, fights for his life, and is finally driven back around the 5 or 6 yard line by the Jackets, who are down very quickly. But as the pile unravels, an official throws a flag. Let's see what it's all about.
Looks like they're going to give him at least the 7-yard line. I believe that's where his forward momentum.
Okay, down quickly was Elton Mims for Thomas Jefferson, along with Trey Story. Personal foul against the Yellow Jackets is the indication. So let's see where they finally spot the ball following that infraction.
Looks like they're going back for 15 at least.
The Indians are getting a break now because they were deep in their own territory at about the 5 or 6. But the penalty gives them a little more breathing room as the officials bring the ball out to about the 22-yard line. And the Indians will go to work now with a 1st and 10 at that point. 11 minutes remaining in the 4th and final period of play on the opening night of the 1993 football season. Brandon Oman brings his ball club up to the line of scrimmage, has 2 receivers split wide to the left side, rolls to his left, fires a quick pass intended for Ruben Sauceda, and it's complete. Just a quick opener, a quick pass, and Sauceda is dropped as soon as he takes the ball in, but I believe it will be ruled a completion. Although there may have been a fumble as he went down, but I believe the officials are going to rule that he was down. Darrell Johnson making the defensive play for Thomas Jefferson.
They also have a flag in the backfield.
Brian Pickney also in for Thomas Jefferson defensively on that last play as the officials talk it over. And let's see what it's all about as they bring the ball back out to about the 25, and now they're indicating nothing is going to happen. They indicate to the coaches, well, now they're talking it over again. So we don't know what's happening. The only thing we're sure of is that there's 10 minutes and 58 seconds left in the ball game, and the score is 14-0 in favor of Thomas Jefferson, and this is the first game of the 1993 season. Other than that, we don't guarantee anything.
Well, until they unravel it on the field. Really no way for us to pass it along to you at home. We're in the stands. I want to mention a lot of folks are in the stands with their Waltmans tonight listening to the ball game. Welcome them aboard, and thanks for tuning us in.
Everybody with radios on the Indian side who are listening to our broadcast, stand up and wave to our broadcast crew. Welcome aboard. We're enjoying it.
I think we've got consensus. The stripy shirts all seem to be in agreement now.
Okay.
Well, what are they agreeing on?
I don't know that.
Hey, one more thing we're sure of, by the way. The Indians will be on the road again next week for the second game of the 1993 season as they travel to the Houston area to Klein High School Stadium to play El Campo.
That's a Saturday night game as well.
Right. Okay, what do we have here? 1st and 10 for the Indians. The line of scrimmage is the 22-yard line as Brandon Oman hands off to the first back through, and he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. That was Salceda. And the middle of the defensive line for Thomas Jefferson stopping for no gain, perhaps even a slight loss on the play, depending on where the officials spot it. Let's see where they call it.
You know,
maybe a half-yard loss.
Salceda could be a tremendous asset to the Indians at 5'6" and 160 pounds. Nobody can see him whenever he's running behind his line.
Quite a contrast to Lyndon Henry from Thomas Jefferson. Well over 6 foot and well over 200 pounds. A legitimate major college prospect, by the way. 2nd and a long 10 for the Yellow Jackets as Oman throws a quick pass over the left side, complete to number 88, Ben Jeffrey, and Jeffrey takes it in territory that'll be close to a first down outside the 30-yard line. Let's see where they spot it.
That's a picture-perfect catch, too. Jeffrey had to stretch out, catch the ball just above the turf, and rolled over, and the official who was right there said it is a completed forward pass. Beautiful play.
And close enough for a measurement.
That's right. That's what you call extra effort.
Yes, it was.
John, and that makes a difference in a ball club and a real ball player. Good job on the field.
Okay, the officials are indicating.
That's a way to pay the referees off, Ben.
Indians will be looking at 3rd and very short yardage. The line of scrimmage will be about the Indian 32, make it the 32.5-yard line. 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in our football game, but the Yellow Jackets out in front of the Indians by 14-0 in the first game of the 93 season. Brandon Oman sends a receiver split wide to the left side. 2 backs lined up in the I formation behind Oman, and Oman keeps it and fights his way forward, following the blocks of the big center, Elliot Harrington, and the guards, Whitehead and Hargroder, and I believe he'll have enough yardage for the first down. Yes, there's the indication. He does pick up sufficient yardage to move the chains, and it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Indians of P&G, operating from about their own 33-yard line.
That's what you call hard-charging, jawbreaker kind of football.
You know, Oman's not doing a bad job for his first go at quarterback for the Indians. He's a good athlete. And he takes the snap and rolls and drops back to his right side. He's looking for a receiver on the right side, and the pass is intercepted. Number 48 of Thomas Jefferson picks it off at the Thomas Jefferson 40-yard line.
That's Bob Hayes.
Bob Hayes, number 48. And he brings it back across midfield into Indian territory, the 40 and 35, and stopped at about the 33-yard line around the original line of scrimmage by the Indians of P&G. But I believe we're going to have a brief timeout on the field while the officials sort this out and call for an official timeout, Joe.
We'll be back in just 60 seconds. You're listening to high school football on the P&G.
Or give them a call at 727-5647. Eaton Meats. Looking for the area's largest assortment of military guns and handguns? Visit the Hardware Man at 3302 East Nederland Avenue, Nederland. The Hardware Man, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m., specializes in military guns, handguns, MTM case guard, and carries a major line of rifle cases, travel bags, holsters, and backpacks. The Hardware Man also provides NRA licensed instructors and officers courses in gun safety. All this and more at the Hardware Man, 3302 East Nederland Avenue, Nederland. Or call 724-6918. The Hardware Man.
We're back at Memorial Stadium where Thomas Jefferson has suffered a 5-yard penalty on their first carry of this series.
1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets at the Indian 34, and before this play can get underway, They flagged and suffer a 5-yard penalty. So now it's moved back, and it's 1st and 15 for the Yellow Jackets from the Indian 39-yard line. And Damon West drops back to pass, looking for a receiver, and flags fly once again before the play can materialize. And the indication is once again a penalty against the Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson.
Illegal procedure or illegal formation, one or the other.
So following the interception and moving down deep into Indian territory, the Jackets are flagged for 2 consecutive 5-yard penalties, and the line of scrimmage is now moved back to the 44.5-yard line, where it remains first down, but a lot of yards needed for a first down, probably about 20.
They keep advancing in the wrong direction.
That's right. We have met
not
the enemy,
advancing then, is it?
we have met the enemy, and they is us. David West sets up his ball club, has a man split wide to the left, has a slot man to the left, says he's in the wrong position, waves him out to the right, hands off his number 9. Perkins, he finds a hole straight up the middle, cuts to his left, crosses the 40, the 35, the 30, inside the 25-yard line, and finally rolled out of bounds by Colin Cobb of PNG. But I believe the Jacket ball carrier has more than enough yardage for the first down if there are no flags. And yes, there's the indication. 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets deep in Indian territory at around the 23-yard line.
That keeps the drive alive, Hank.
Big play by Thomas Jefferson.
Excuse me. Okay. Damon West has his ball club back up to the line of scrimmage, following the big center, Jason Whitesell. He has receivers split wide to either side. Slot man on the left side. One running back lined up behind him. West drops back to pass. Throws an alley-oop pass way out to the right side in the end zone, intended for, I believe, Trey Story. But defending for the Indians of PNG is Mark Broussard. And the pass is incomplete. And that'll set up a 2nd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets from the Indian 23. And once again, I believe we have a timeout on the playing field, Joe.
We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to high school football on the PNG
Guard line as the Yellow Jackets go to work offensively. A man in motion to the left side. A man split to the left side as West fakes once, then hands off to Perkins, I believe it is, who tries straight up the middle, cuts to his right, finds some daylight, eludes the Indian defenders to secondary, and hits the corner of the end zone to put 6 more points on the scoreboard. He outruns Lou Ford, the senior defensive back for the Indians, and the Yellow Jackets add 6 more to make our score with 8:38 remaining in the 4th and final period. 20 for the Jackets, nothing for the Indians, with the attempted point after coming up in just a few seconds. I believe we have an official timeout once again. All right, the point after is the ball is snapped, a good snap from center. The ball is down, the kick is in the air, and it's good. So the Jackets tack on 1 more. 8:38 remaining in our ball game. The score is now Thomas Jefferson 21, the Indians of PNG 0.
Hank, one of the things I know...
One of the young man.
Absolutely.
He's a fine young man and a good athlete, and we're very proud to have him as part of our broadcast.
Just remember, last year we had Fawn Bouton.
That's right, and I still can't say it. Okay, the Jackets set to kick off now following the last touchdown. They have the ball teed up on their own 40-yard line, and Saburn gets the high kickoff not too far downfield. It'll be taken in by, I believe, is that Ford? No, I'm sorry.
I couldn't see the numbers. There's too many Jackets on it.
Chris Maddox fields it at about the 15, brings it back on across the 20, the 25, and the Jackets drop him at about the 25. So with 8.5 minutes remaining in our football game, trailing by 21 points, the Indians go to work once again with a 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Brandon Ullman remains in at quarterback for the Indians. Jake Lafort, number 45, is the fullback. Ruben Sauceda, tailback, and Ben Jeffrey, the flanker.
Just a little more than 8 minutes
Chris Maddox is split out wide to the right side, the split in, as Ullman rolls to his left looking for a receiver, and he's trying to hit number 88, Ben Jeffrey, on the left side, but the pass is too tall, and it'll go incomplete to set up a 2nd and 10 for the Indians operating from their own 26.
Indians trying to get something going here with 8 minutes and 27 seconds left on the clock. Down by 21 points to the Yellow Jackets.
You know, this has turned out to be a very long game for a high school football game because of the amount of passing, I suppose, and a lot of timeouts because of the heat and so forth. Okay, Owen fires one intended for Aaron Wilson, but it's picked off by Bob Hayes, I believe, of Thomas Jefferson, who steals the pass at about the midfield stripe and brings it back into Indian territory inside the 45 down to about the 42 or 43-yard line. And the Indians converge on him at that point to stop him for no more forward progress. But the important thing is the Jackets own the football again in fairly good field position with a 1st and 10 from the Indian 42-yard line.
That's his second interception in 5 minutes.
I was fixing to point out that is just big plays tonight from Bob Hayes. I mean, not only the interception, but he's made some other tremendous plays.
Good athlete. Very good athlete. Okay, now the Jackets set to go to work once again as the quarterback for Thomas Jefferson looks over the Indian defense. And they're set to go as Damon West fires a pass out to the right side, but it's incomplete. No one near it, no chance at all. It was intended for Keto Means, but Lou Ford was there in the vicinity as well as Means, and neither one had a chance for it. So the incompletion sets up a 2nd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets, leading by 21-0. The ball is on the Indian 42-yard line.
The wind pretty much taken out of the sails of the Indians offensively tonight.
All right, West has his ball club set. A man split wide to the left. Flanker out to the right side. 2 running backs lined up behind the Jacket quarterback. He takes the snap and throws another alley-oop pass intended for Means, I believe. No, it's not Means. It's number 34. Yes, Keto Means was the intended receiver, and he couldn't quite get under it. Kind of a high looping pass, but it falls incomplete inside the 15-yard line down around the 12. So the incompletion will set up 3rd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. The line of scrimmage remains the Indian 42-yard line. Who do we have defensively for the Indians? Ron Grant, I'm sorry, and Lou Ford.
John Stevens just pointed out how the wind direction has changed a little bit since the start of this game. We have more of a northerly breeze now. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. Keep my fingers crossed.
3rd and 10 now as the Yellow Jackets go to work offensively. West back to pass, drops back, and he's firing long for Lyndon Henry, number 39, who had worked his way down to the Indian 5-yard line, but the pass was overthrown. Back with him was Colin Cobb. But neither the defensive or the offensive player had a chance for it, so that incompletion will set up a 4th down for the Yellow Jackets. Still 10 yards needed for the 1st down, and the line of scrimmage remains the 42-yard line.
I want to tell you something. That was what you'd call a bodacious pass. West reared back and chunked it, and you'd have needed a couple of bus tokens and a transfer to get under that football.
Well, he had that new north wind with him.
That's right.
What a throw.
The Yellow Jackets lining up in punt formation now, looking at 4th and 10 at the Indian 42, and a good snap from center, and the Jacket punter gets a low kick away. It's fielded by the Indians at the 5-yard line, back across the 10, and he's met with a slobber knocker tackle at the 10-yard line.
I tell you what, the first man to hit him was Michael Gauthier.
Good coverage by the Yellow Jacket defenders, and the Indians take over with 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the football game. 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line.
Our score,
a long way to go.
That's right. Our score is still 21-0. Thomas Jefferson in the lead in this ball game.
You know, I was looking at the schedule, and I forgot, who does Thomas Jefferson play next week? I know the Indians go to Houston to play Klein. And as the Indians line up offensively, I think they're going to be assessed a 5-yard penalty for taking too much time.
I'm sorry, I apologize. That's not one of the things I concentrated on.
Of the many things that you did take care of,
that's right.
That was one that...
Well, I'll tell you what we can do. We'll just look here at the program and see who they play next week.
Oh, sure. It would be easy for you to sneak.
And we'll pass some good news along. That 5-yard penalty was assessed against the Yellow Jackets.
They stay in mid-county and play Nederland. So 5 yards. And the flag goes out again before the play gets underway.
Well, it'll be the maroon and gold against the black and gold.
Club set. Let's see what he can do this time. Chris Maddox is in the ball game for the Indians as Ullman rolls wide to his right side to lose one tackler, but he's caught and dropped after a pickup of about a yard. And let's see, number 17, I think, is Romero, isn't it?
John
Davis, I'm sorry. But as that play materialized and Ullman picked up a yard or two, another flag was thrown by an official. And let's see what the problem is this time. Holding will be assessed against the Port Neches Indians. So here we go again, and I'm sure the Jackets will take the penalty to drive the Indians further back and deeper into their own territory.
Josh Davis is your quarterback right now, Hank.
I'm sorry, I said Ullman, but that was Davis.
Well, it's an easy thing to say. We've been looking at number 10 all night.
That's right. And from far up in the press box, 10 doesn't look that different than 17.
Okay. Another fresh jersey coming into the lineup for the Indians of PNG. So let's see what Coach Owen has this time. Josh Davis brings his ball club up to the line of scrimmage. Long count by the new Indian quarterback as he hands off to the first back through, and I believe that would be Saseda. But let's wait for him to untangle here.
Rocky Howe,
number 42. He's in for Saseda. Okay. No, for the fullback. Okay. So number 42, Howe replacing LaForte, number 45. And he is stopped for no gain as we look at 2nd and 15 for the Indians. The line of scrimmage is the Indian 7-yard line.
Rocky Howe is a junior this year, and he comes in the game at 175.
All right, Josh Davis. We'll get the numbers right. Replacing Ullman, the quarterback for the Indians. And he's trying a little quick pass on the left side, intended for, let's see, is that number 88?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, Ben Jeffrey was the intended receiver, but the pass is too tall, incomplete, and that'll set up a 4th down situation, I believe, for the Indians. No, I'm sorry, 3rd down, 3rd and 15 for the Indians. Olin Henderson in the ball game now for the Yellow Jackets.
6:41 left to play here in this ball game in Port Arthur as PNG comes back up to the line.
Okay, the Indians are set to go once again. Everybody in tight except one man split slightly to the left side as the Indian quarterback fires a complete pass to Chris Maddox, number 46, on the left side, and he'll be close to first down yardage, perhaps a little bit short. Lipsy is the defender for Thomas Jefferson, and they're going to mark it well short of the first down as the Indians look at 4th and about 4 now. The line of scrimmage will be set at the 17-yard line.
Port Neches.
Eddie Bird dropping back in punt formation for the Indians of PNG, standing at his own 5-yard line. The Yellow Jackets deployed in a receiving formation with their back at about the midfield stripe. Number 3, Antwine attempts to field it at midfield, but loses the football, and there's a scramble for it, and there's a flag on the play, and let's see what the result of all this turns out to be.
Preliminary indications, referee is showing that the ball is still in possession of Thomas Jefferson. However, there is still a flag on the play, and they haven't.
At that point, 6 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in tonight's football game. The Yellow Jackets out in front of the Indians by a score of 21-0. The Yellow Jackets split receivers wide to both sides. As West drops back to pass, he's being pursued, he's in trouble, rolls to his left, in trouble again, decides to keep it, and he's smothered at about midfield by a hard-charging Indian defender, number 28, number 44, Eddie Bird, along with 28, David Merriman. They were all over West and drop him for a loss of about 2 yards as the officials spot the ball at midfield, and it'll set up a 2nd and about 13 for the Yellow Jackets at that point.
Great play defensively by the Indians here late in the game.
All right, let's see what Coach Mike Owens of Thomas Jefferson has up his sleeve now. It'll probably be something pretty simple because his sleeves are short. It's hot weather. Okay, West back to pass as flags go down again. And the intended receiver for Thomas Jefferson is number 27, Elton Mims. But there is a flag on the play back around the original line of scrimmage. And I don't see an indication from any official on the field as yet. So we'll wait and see as they start it out. They're talking it over apparently with the Indians. So apparently the penalty will be against Thomas Jefferson.
Which the Indians would certainly welcome at this point in the game.
They'll take all the help they can get. They need it right now because we're in the dying minutes of the football game, first game of the 1993 season.
5:35 left to go.
Penalty is against the Yellow Jackets. But there it is. 5 yards being stepped off against Thomas Jefferson. Moves the line of scrimmage back to the Yellow Jacket 45-yard line. But the down marker on the far sideline has not moved as yet. Now they're moving it.
There it comes.
Okay. Nope, he's going to leave it there for a second. They still haven't got it all sorted out yet. Okay, now we're moving it.
It's going to make about 18 yards for a first here.
All right. Thomas Jefferson back in its own territory now, following the penalty, as they have receivers on either side. And West is back to pass once again. A screen pass set up to number 2, and he hits him, and as soon as the Yellow Jacket receiver takes the pass in, he's hit. The ball squirts away, but another Yellow Jacket apparently in the vicinity recovers for Thomas Jefferson.
Jarrett Romero was the man responsible for drawing the football loose on that first contact.
I mean,
good tackle.
A good
Absolutely.
solid tackle. But the Yellow Jackets retain possession following the fumble recovery. So that'll be put down in the statistics book as a completed pass, a fumble, and a fumble recovery by Thomas Jefferson. Third and still long. Third and about 16 or 17 needed for the first down. The line of scrimmage is the Yellow Jacket 48-yard line. West back to pass once again. Straight drop back pass, and he's throwing long. It's going to be overthrown. Intended for number 82, I believe it is.
And a flag thrown.
Goes down once again. Well, let's see. Who was the intended receiver? Was that McAfee, a senior? And I wasn't watching that closely. Perhaps that may have been some interference down there, but I don't see how it could be. Yardage stepped off against PNG. And it will be a major penalty, 15 yards. And that should be enough for a first down. They're going to spot the ball at about the 37.5-yard line. And the Yellow Jackets of Thomas Jefferson will be looking at 1st and 10 in Indian Territory. 4:40 remaining in the fifth. A long ball game because of a lot of passing on by the offenses of both teams. It's well after 10 o'clock, so our game is over 2.5 hours long. Okay, a quick pass out to the right side, and the receiver for Thomas Jefferson bobbles the ball 2 or 3 times, struggles with the defender, but manages to hang on to it. That receiver was brought down finally by Mitch Bynum of PNG, but it will go as a completion. Even though he bobbled the ball, he still had enough of a possession to count as a reception for Thomas Jefferson.
You're on the point. KQXY, Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange. Friday Night Live, Phase 2 on the all-new 94.1.
Just like Captain Ocean, just like you're sailing on the ocean. Slide, let your body just glide. Just keep doing what you feel inside. Smooth, just keep stepping the moves. And just rock on with the groove. Cool, there's no frustration. Keep jamming the situation. It's like you can't stop the potion. Body's moving, yeah, you're feeling just fine. It's like you could be on cloud 9. Sweat. It's like syncopation. It's like we're all in one rhythm nation. Hot.